What if the thing you're hunting is actually hunting you? Imagine standing in a pitch-black corridor, the air so cold you can see your breath, and then suddenly you feel a sharp, icy pressure around your throat. It's not just a ghost, it's a predatory force that doesn't want to be recorded. It wants you dead. This isn't just another paranormal investigation. This is the story of the most dangerous haunting ever captured, where the entity didn't just haunt a house, it declared war on the living. Mystery Code has uncovered the terrifying evidence of a hunt where the roles were reversed and the investigator became the prey. Deep within the crumbling walls of the Blackwood Asylum, a place where the shadows seemed to have a life of their own, something was waiting. Most ghosts are echoes of the past, repetitive loops of tragedy, but what was encountered here was intelligent, calculated, and malevolent. It didn't just throw stones or bang on walls. It learned the investigator's name. It whispered it from the darkness, a raspy, guttural sound that seemed to come from inside the walls themselves. This wasn't a haunting. It was a psychological siege designed to break a man's spirit before taking his life.
The first sign that something was horribly wrong came during the second hour of the investigation. A heavy iron door, which had been rusted shut for decades, suddenly slammed with enough force to shake the entire floor. When the team checked the lock, they found it hadn't just closed, it had been fused shut by some impossible heat. Locked in a room with no exit, the temperature began to plummet. It wasn't just cold, it was a soul-crushing chill that seemed to drain the batteries of every piece of equipment instantly. In the silence that followed, a voice whispered directly into the microphone. "He's mine."
Mystery Code believes this is a vital piece of the puzzle because the entity wasn't just defending its territory, it was claiming a victim. As the night progressed, the attacks became physical. Scratches appeared on the lead investigator's back, 3 deep, bloody furrows that burned like fire. This wasn't just a warning, it was a mark. In the world of the paranormal, 3 scratches are often seen as a mockery of the Holy Trinity, a sign of something demonic. But this felt even more personal. It felt like a predator marking its kill. The investigation took a terrifying turn when the thermal camera picked up a heat signature that shouldn't have existed. It wasn't a human shape. It was a sprawling, amorphous mass of heat that moved with a fluid, predatory grace. It didn't walk. It flowed across the ceiling, hovering directly above the team. When they looked up with their naked eyes, there was nothing but darkness. But the thermal screen showed the entity reaching down, its long, spindly fingers inches away from the investigator's head. It was waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Every time they thought they had a handle on the situation, the entity changed its tactics. It began to mimic the voices of the team members, calling out for help from different parts of the asylum. One investigator followed what he thought was his partner's voice into the old surgical theater, only to find himself standing over a gaping hole in the floor that led into a flooded basement. If he had taken one more step, he would have been lost in the dark water. The entity wasn't just trying to scare them, it was trying to kill them in ways that looked like accidents. Mystery Code will now reveal the truth. The history of Blackwood Asylum is filled with stories of patients who disappeared without a trace, only to be found days later in impossible locations. It was said that a specific orderly in the 1940s had a fascination with the energy of fear and would perform rituals in the basement to harvest it. He believed that if he could create enough terror, he could bridge the gap between this world and the next. It appears he succeeded, but instead of bringing something through, he became the very thing he sought to summon.
The hunt isn't about territory or even anger. It's about sustenance. This entity feeds on the high-octane energy of a terrified human mind. The more the investigators panicked, the stronger it became. They could feel their own thoughts being twisted, filled with sudden, overwhelming impulses to jump from heights or step into the path of falling debris. The entity was hacking their brains, using their own survival instincts against them. It was a parasitic haunting that required a living host to remain grounded in our reality. By the early hours of the morning, the team was exhausted, their spirits broken. They were trapped in the basement, the air thick with the smell of ozone and rotting meat. The entity was no longer hiding. It stood at the end of the corridor, a tall, distorted figure with eyes that glowed like dying embers. It didn't move towards them. It simply watched. It knew they had nowhere to go. It was savoring the final moments of the hunt, waiting for the investigators' hearts to fail from the sheer stress of the encounter.
Then, the final pivot occurred. One of the investigators realized that the entity was tethered to a specific object, a silver pocket watch they had found in the rubble earlier that night. It wasn't just a relic, it was a focus point. As long as they carried it, they were providing the entity with a direct link to their location. In a desperate move, they threw the watch into the flooded sub-basement and fled. The transformation was immediate. The oppressive weight in the air lifted, and the guttural growling stopped. The hunt was over, but the scars remained. Today, Blackwood Asylum is a pile of rubble, demolished by the city to prevent any more accidents. But some say that the entity didn't disappear with the building. It's still out there, waiting in the dark corners of the world for the next curious soul to come looking for answers. Mystery Code warns that some mysteries are better left unsolved, and some hunts should never be started. Because once a ghost decides it needs to kill you, there is no place on Earth where you are truly safe. The evidence suggests that we are entering a new era of paranormal activity, where entities are becoming more aggressive and more intelligent. They are learning how we hunt them, and they are adapting. If you ever find yourself in a place that feels wrong, don't wait for a sign. Don't reach for your camera. Just run. Because in the game of the hunt, the ghost always has the home field advantage, and it has all the time in the world to wait for you to make one mistake. Mystery Code continues to monitor reports of aggressive hauntings worldwide, and the data is chilling. The frequency of physical attacks is rising, and the nature of the entities is shifting from the human to something far more ancient and predatory. We are no longer just observers. We are participants in a struggle that we barely understand. The hunt for the truth is a dangerous one, and as we've seen at Blackwood, sometimes the truth is the last thing you'll ever see. Stay vigilant, stay safe, and remember that when you look into the abyss isn't just looking back, it's checking to see if you're worth the effort of a hunt. This has been a Mystery Code investigation into the dark heart of the paranormal. We will continue to bring you the stories that others are too afraid to tell, even if it means putting ourselves in the line of fire. Because the truth is out there, and it's hungrier than you can possibly imagine. The investigators who survived Blackwood never returned to the field. They sold their equipment and moved to the brightest cities they could find, haunted not by spirits, but by the memory of the look in those embers-like eyes. They know that the hunt never truly ends. It just waits for a new season. And in the darkness of the night, when the wind howls and the shadows stretch, they still hear that raspy whisper calling their names, reminding them that some debts are never truly paid. We must ask ourselves, are we prepared for what comes next? If these entities can manipulate our reality so easily, what hope do we have of containing them? The answer may lie in the very fear they feed on. By understanding the mechanics of the hunt, we might just find a way to break the cycle. But until then, we remain the prey, wandering into the dark with our flashlights and our cameras, providing the very sustenance our predators crave. Mystery Code is committed to finding the light in the darkness, but even we have our limits. The story of Blackwood serves as a grim reminder that there are forces in this world that defy explanation and demand respect. Don't be the next victim of the hunt. Respect the boundaries of the dead, or you might just find yourself joining them. The investigation is closed, but the mystery remains, echoing through the empty halls of our history, waiting for the next brave soul to step into the light. Final thought for tonight. If you're listening to this in the dark, take a look behind you. Is that a shadow moving, or is it just your imagination? In the world of the hunt, there's no such thing as just imagination. Everything is real, everything is dangerous, and everything is hungry. Sleep with the lights on, and never ever go into the basement alone. Mystery Code is signing off, but we'll be watching from the shadows, ready to tell the next tale of the hunt that should never have happened.